Hi guys, happy Sunday, welcome back to my channel. I just want to start off by saying that I cannot wait to get my hair chopped in January because I just love short hair, and even though I don't hate this hair, like it's great this length, I just feel like a lion, like I have like a lion's mane, and it's just too much because I have really thick hair and I don't know, I just feel more confident and prettier with short hair. That's what I wanted to start off telling you guys. Today we are talking about setting boundaries at Christmas. I know so many people have so much anxiety going into Christmas because people are going to ask, you know, when you get your boyfriend, when you're having a baby, should you be eating that? How's your job going? And you see people that maybe you don't see that often and you really want to avoid talking about certain subjects. Well, today we're going to talk about how to set boundaries like healthily, properly, confidently, so that you can tell people what you really want from them or don't want from them, and you don't feel like you're being really harsh or they're going to cause an argument, because whether it causes an argument or not, that is not a reason to not set a boundary with someone. And I feel like right now they're more important than ever, so let's get into it. Setting a boundary is basically telling people what they can and cannot do to you, say around you, or act like with you. Also, don't feel like you have to explain yourself, but it also does help. Being clear is setting limits and expectations on what you want to happen from setting the boundary. Being rude is being really dismissive of who they are and what they want to say, and also the attitude in which you deliver it. So like a rude way to respond to someone saying something that crosses the boundary would be to say like, you're being really annoying, I don't want to talk about it, go away. So that is the incorrect way to respond to someone crossing a boundary. Whereas a more friendly and clear way to respond to someone who's talking about your weight would be, I have already told you that my weight is not open for discussion, can we please change the subject or else I will go somewhere else. Or a more friendly, clear way to talk to someone when they are talking about your weight, if, for example, if that's a boundary you set with them, you could say, I know you mean well, but I've already told you that I don't want to discuss my weight, can we please change the subject? Just letting them, like, reinforcing again that you don't want to talk about it, and that if you ever do want to talk about it, you can go to them, but they do not need to come to you about it. Now, I know a lot of people get really scared setting boundaries because they think it's some type of like, we have to sit down really like face to face on a sofa and be like, look, these are my boundaries. You absolutely do not have to do a sit down environment and go, right, I have 4 boundaries, these are them, please don't cross them, because that is very intimidating. It does come off as rude and entitled. So you can slip them into conversations if it comes up. For example, if someone does ask about your weight, you could then introduce a boundary, or you can send them a little text beforehand going like, look, I know that me and Ben have just broken up, I really don't want to talk about it at Christmas, can we please just leave it alone and I'll talk to you about it in the new year. That's a really great way to set a boundary. It's really clear, but it's not like really intimidating, and it's not you being really rude. I mean, let's be honest, going into Christmas, everyone is going to have their sore spot. It's going to be their job or their weight or their parenting or their relationship. Everyone is going to have something, and I think it's just really about learning to read the room and know what is appropriate to bring up at Christmas and what isn't. Let's be honest, we're all there to drink, eat, open presents, have a good time. So if there's something really important that you need to bring up with someone, you don't necessarily have to do it at Christmas. I don't think it's necessarily a great environment to bring up things like I've just listed. I think we can leave them for after New Year. So I really want you to take a minute and reflect on what is making you anxious about Christmas, and find out what your sore spot is so that you can go in there with a clear mind and a clear plan of action to know what you want to talk about, what you don't want to talk about, and have your boundary prepared beforehand. You don't want to be like, I'm awful on the spot. I'm awful at confrontation and setting boundaries in the moment, but if I've had time to like think about it and process it, I'm much clearer. So maybe think about what it is that's making you anxious, and then brainstorm some different ways that you can set the boundary, what you want to happen from the boundary, who you want to set them with, and maybe think of like a timeline. So if you think, I don't want to talk about it over Christmas, but I really do want to talk about it, think about when you would like to bring that subject up and who you want to bring it up with. With recognizing anxiety, you also need to recognize triggers. So know what is going to set you off. Know if there are certain foods, certain scents, certain words, certain things. If you know that at Christmas there is going to be that one thing that is going to trigger you, for example, this is really raw and personal for me, but I used to be in a abusive relationship. So for me, whenever I smell the original Monster or I smell David Beckham's aftershave, it triggers me instantly. So my boyfriend and my family, for example, know not to wear that and not to have that drink around me because they know it will trigger me. So if you have certain things that you know will trigger them, just text whoever is hosting ahead of time and be like, look, can you please make sure that this song isn't played, or we don't watch this movie, or this doesn't happen, because it will trigger me. Explain why it will trigger you if you're comfortable explaining it. I'm getting a bit emotional now. Explain why it will trigger you, and just make sure that you know it and everyone else around you knows it, so no one's tiptoeing, no one's guessing, and you can have a great day without being triggered, because nobody wants to spend Christmas being triggered. I really want to just talk about weight for a minute, because I feel like that is where most people find Christmas the hardest. So for example, if you are someone who is overweight, or you put a lot of weight on this year, or you have an eating disorder, you're anorexic, you've got bulimia, whatever it is, I know that Christmas is a time of year that you absolutely dread. So let's zone in on that section for a second. I just want to emphasize and really make this clear that you don't owe anybody an explanation. If you put on weight this year, you don't owe them a reason why. If you only want to eat pigs in blankets and nothing else, you don't owe them an explanation as to why. If you don't want to eat, or you eat more than everyone else, you don't owe them an explanation why. Why you do things is your business, and they have no idea what it is you're struggling with, why you're struggling with it, or you know, what you're going through. So just know that you shouldn't feel embarrassed, you shouldn't feel ashamed, and it's literally no one else's business why you're doing or acting the way you're acting. My daughter decided to come and join us now, but I have written down some boundary phrases that you can use, and also some options to how to respond to people. So you can use boundary phrases such as, let's keep the focus on enjoying each other's company, I'd prefer not to talk about my body, that topic doesn't feel good for me, so let's switch to something else, or my body isn't up for commentary. And I think that one is the best one. Like, my body's a TripAdvisor, I'm not going to leave a review. It's good. So the way you can redirect conversation, you can say, I'm not talking about that, let's talk about how your job is going. A good one for this year would be, I'm not talking about that, but who's excited for Stranger Things? Because I am so excited to spend Christmas Day watching Stranger Things. I know you might mean well, but comments about my body make me feel uncomfortable. I'd appreciate it if we didn't talk about my weight. Those conversations aren't helpful for me. Or, as I said, I'm not discussing my body. If this topic doesn't change, I will have to take a step away. That one is really powerful, because we're just letting them know that this is serious and I really don't like the conversation, and I will remove myself from the room. And I think that's really powerful, because some people like to push and push and push your boundary, and when you say that, that makes them go, oh, she's serious, I need to stop. So that's a really good one for anyone who keeps crossing your boundaries. So again, I know a hot topic at Christmas is always marriage, dating, parenting, jobs, a lot of personal things that maybe you don't want to talk about on Christmas Day, because it's not really the time or place. And lots of people, I know at Christmas you often see people you haven't seen for a very long time, so they don't always mean harm, they just haven't seen you for a while, so they want to know. But if it's still something you don't want to talk about, don't feel pressured to talk to them about it just because you haven't seen them much, or because they don't know much about you. So you can simply say things like, thank you for caring, but I don't want to share this information, or this information is being kept private for now. Or you can say something like, I don't want to talk about this at Christmas, but maybe let's go grab a coffee and we can talk about it then. So if it's something you want to talk about but not at Christmas, then you can again make it a later date, say can we go grab coffee, or maybe sometimes you want to talk about it but there's kids around, or your mum's in the room, or maybe your ex-partner's there and you're like, I don't want to talk about it in front of them. So it's always great to be like, I can't talk about this right now, but maybe if we see each other another week, another time, we can talk about it then. And I just want to remind you that you don't have to justify your choices. You broke up with him because you broke up with him. You parent this way because that's what you feel is best, and they might not know your child that well, and so they won't understand why you're doing it. You quit that job because it was bad for your mental health. You don't have to justify that. That's a very valid, important reason to quit your job. So don't feel like you have to justify something to get other people's approval, because at the end of the day, you're only just trying to justify something to get a positive approval for someone and make sure they think of you positively, and that in the grand scheme of things isn't very important, and doesn't matter whether they think you made the right choice or not. If you know you made the right choice, then that's all that matters. So a few more boundaries for the people that keep pushing you. You can say, I love you and I want them to enjoy Christmas. I've been clear about my boundaries and I need you to please respect them. So some more like firm boundaries for people who keep pushing the boundaries, because we all have that one person, that one uncle, or what, that one gran who just doesn't take no for an answer. Again, I've written some down here. I've written, I love you and I want us to enjoy Christmas. I've been clear about my boundaries and please can you respect them. I'm not comfortable with this. Let's stick to what we've already agreed on. You can go for a walk. You can leave the room. You can also ask someone else to get involved if you've got like a partner and you're being like, look, they're just not leaving me alone. Can you please reiterate to them, can you please have my back? Can you please change the subject? Maybe if you're at a dinner and you're with your partner or you're with your mum or something, maybe you could come up with a code word. So if you say, can I please have some more gravy, and they hear that, they then know that you're really uncomfortable and you need to change the subject. Code words are great. I've always had code words with my parents and I found it really, really helpful and really beneficial when I'm around all the family. It can be something that, it's just like a safety net. Sometimes you feel really anxious about a certain subject you know is going to get brought up. There's nothing wrong in having a safety net. And of course, if anything ever gets really serious and bad, you can just threaten to go home, or you can just simply say, I've had enough, you're not respecting my boundary, I am now going to leave. Obviously that's probably not the option you and everyone wants, but if someone's not respecting your boundaries, you cannot let them get away with it, because they will either constantly push, and sometimes people like that need a hard final decision to be like, oh, I cannot push a boundary. He or she cannot talk about that right now. And again, just to reiterate, you can rehearse your boundaries, you can rehearse your responses, you can have a few things in your mind ready to go, so you don't have to think on the spot or say the wrong thing. I know sometimes when you're feeling really anxious, you're prone to just say the wrong thing or give in or just do what everyone else, or just do what makes everyone else happy, and of course that is not going to help you feel any better at all. So it's really good to rehearse it, to set things ahead of time, to let people know, your partner know, your children, your mum, whatever, whoever you feel closest talking to and setting a boundary with, because it's good to let them know as well, so that they can pass it on to the aunties, the uncles, the cousins, the grands, the stepdads, whatever. Sometimes it's good to have like a group of you that know things so you don't feel so alone. Like I tell my mum absolutely everything, and that makes me feel a whole lot better. So let's get into how we use our body language and our tone and our voice to really get across our message. If you say it in a laughing tone, they're not going to take you seriously. If you say it in a really like attitude, angry, dismissive tone, they're going to start picking a fight with you because they're going to get defensive. So let's talk about how to do it correctly. So you want to make sure that you are open, straight back, that you have a calm tone, and that you keep eye contact. Turning away won't help. Saying it in an attitude won't help. Crossing your arms like this and giving a bit of like this isn't going to help. You just want to sit there and calmly be like, excuse me, I've already said I don't feel comfortable talking about this. Can we please move the subject on? Just calm, take a deep breath, sit straight, look him in the eye and just say, I've already said I don't want to talk about this. Let's talk about stranger things, because I'm telling you, Uncle Bob can't remember what happened last season. Do you know what I mean? sometimes no matter what you do, no matter how you say it, what language, tone or body language you have, some people will take setting a boundary really offensively and they will take it as rejection. And this is nothing to do with you, it's simply because they've enjoyed the fact that they can have a piece of information about you that they can lore over you or they can gossip about, because they don't have high emotional intelligence. That is often one, because it makes them realize that they haven't grown as much as you, and they don't like that because they feel inferior, or simply because they like that to them you seem weak and vulnerable, and they can again hold something over you. And if you freeze up in the moment, remember the grey rock method. The grey rock method says be calm, be neutral, be unattentative and unreactive. Don't get sucked into the explanations, the arguing and the back and forth. One great one is, I understand how you feel about this, but my feelings have not changed, so therefore I am not talking about it. And sometimes it's really hard not to feel guilty or feel bad for setting a boundary. But here's what you need to remember about that. Their guilt or their frustration or their annoying with you has nothing to do with you. You can't control how they react to you. All you can do is control how you deliver it and how you react to their reaction. To prepare yourself for not taking their reaction personally, you need to remember that there are going to be times when people are uncomfortable, they're going to be disappointed, they're going to feel like you push them away, they're going to feel snubbed, and you need to be prepared for those reactions because they are so common when you set a boundary. And like I said, it has absolutely nothing to do with you, it's all about their emotional intelligence. And a really good mantra to remember in that moment, their reaction belongs to them and not to me. Always, always, always remove yourself if you need to. Just say, look, I am not feeling very comfortable right now. I want to go for a walk. I want to go sit in the other room. Sometimes people can interpret you walking away as dramatic, drama queen, or attention seeker. But it's actually you being really mature and saying, I am not going to get into this argument with you right now. I am not going to upset everyone else. I am not going to upset myself or make everyone else feel uncomfortable because you cannot accept my boundary. So it does not make you dramatic or like, oh, because you want to walk away. It actually is you saying, I'm protecting everyone's peace right now, you are not, and I'm going to make sure that I am the one being mature in this conversation because you clearly can't be mature. So if something feels really intense or you feel really overwhelmed or uncomfortable, just make sure that you know it's okay if you need to leave early, if you don't want to go to Boxing Day the next day, if you just need to go to bed. Like, you don't need to overshare or keep staying to make everyone else happy. You've got to do what makes you happy to make it a great Christmas. Hi. It's your Christmas too, so you need to get out of it what you want. The food, the movies, the songs, the outfits, the presents, whatever it is that you really have been like, oh my god, I can't wait for Christmas because of XYZ. Make sure you make that happen. If it's a tree lighting, ice skating, Wonderland, pigs in blankets, the best part of the Christmas dinner, don't come for me, but it's a pigs in blankets. Whatever it is that you have been waiting all year to do at this Christmas, make sure that you let everyone know that that's what you want to do and what you expect to happen, and go and make it happen, because it's all of our Christmases and we shouldn't have to make ourselves feel any negative way to make everyone else happy. There's plenty of room, there's plenty of time. We could all do what makes all of us happy and enjoy and revel in the Christmas spirit together. So that's pretty much it. I just want to remind you that setting boundaries is the purest form of self-love. It's actually you saying, I respect myself, I want to protect myself, I want to make myself happy, and it's like the best way to strengthen that love you have for yourself and your confidence, to be like, I am not going to let you cross my boundary. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for it or feel less than or feel like a diva because you want to keep yourself at a really good place in your life. And if there's anything you want to talk about or anything you want to ask, make sure you DM me at L with self-love. I will make sure to put my Instagram in the link below, in the comments below. You're more than welcome to DM me and we can have a great chat about it. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you have I will talk to you again before Christmas, but I hope it's nearly, oh my god, tomorrow's December 1st. I just hope you have the most beautiful, magical, amazing, gorgeous Christmas month and New Year, and thank you so much for watching. I will, like I said, I'm planning on doing 2 or 3 more videos before Christmas and before the end of the new year, so I will see you again soon. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you again very soon. Bye guys.